guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's actually, I'm kind of testing out this room. It's not finished yet, it's my office. It's not finished, and I'm just trying to get a feel for what the lighting might be like in here, because I know some of you have noticed that some of my videos have been very like a sort of like soft focus. And it's because in my room, anyway, it's a long story, but I have to shoot differently in my room. The camera doesn't like the windows being behind me. And I just haven't been able to totally figure it out. And there's so many videos that I have scrapped because they were just slightly out of focus. And it's annoying for you, it's annoying for me. So this is kind of just a tester video. I wasn't planning to film today, but I want to get a feel for the noise in here and see what I can do for that and the lighting and stuff. So since I wasn't planning to film today, I think I'm just gonna do another Ask Sarah video because those don't require a ton of planning. So let me know how you feel about the volume and or lighting and or focusing. I welcome the criticism for this particular video. Okay, so the first email is from a girl or woman, I'm not sure how old she is, but she said, "Hi Sarah, recently I've been talking to this guy who added me on Facebook. He constantly kept asking me out, but I always came up with excuses to say no because I am so afraid of being rejected for how I look. Although he has seen my pictures, I have this constant fear of him not finding me attractive or thinking I'm too fat. Do you have any tips on how to get rid of the fear of rejection? Love your videos. Thanks." Well, thank you for emailing me. And I think this actually touches on something else that a lot of people message me about and something that I've gone through, which is meeting someone in person that you first met online. And I know a lot of us feel like, how should I put this? I know a lot of us feel like, let's say me, for instance, before I started doing YouTube videos or anything, and my social media was just my personal social media for, you know, my friends, my family, or whatever, and I didn't have a ton of people that I don't necessarily know, but that know me, following me. Back then, I remember posting a lot of like pictures, and maybe I'd post a picture of just the top half of me, and it would make me look, in my brain at least, I felt like I looked a little slimmer, I looked a little different, my eyes looked a little different, my hair looked a little different, whatever. I just felt like that wasn't really me. And when people, I would say, I've never done traditional online dating with like, you know, an eHarmony or Match.com or Tinder or OkCupid, whatever. I've never done anything like that, but I have met people online through some form of online communication and then actually met them in person. And I remember the first time, which if you want to see a video on this, let me know, because there can be a lot of dangers. And also it all kind of depends on how you're meeting, I guess. Like this person, for instance, you said that he friended you on Facebook, and then he asked you out, which probably means you guys live near each other, maybe you had a mutual or something. But anyway, let me know if you'd like to see a video on sort of meeting someone for the first time, especially when you are, what word should I use here? What do I normally say? Especially when, let's say, you're insecure about your body in some way, and you feel as though, not that you're lying about it online, but you feel as though you are sort of portraying it in a different way than how you actually see yourself. You want other people to see you a certain way, and so that is what you're crafting on your online profiles, but not necessarily how you feel about yourself and what you really think of yourself. So for this particular person, that's kind of what it sounds like, that you know that he's seen your pictures, and you understand that he finds you attractive, and he's obviously made this, you know, something that's known, and you're still afraid of him rejecting you. So I think this is a really normal thing to feel. And when you're meeting someone who you met online for the first time, it can be a little scary, because even though they're showing you that they're interested, because you don't necessarily believe that, you know, maybe believe that you have all these qualities. Look, I explained this really, really well in a video called He Doesn't Love You, or Why He Doesn't Love You, something like that. And I had a follow-up video, and it was something about blue to red, and I explained it very well in those videos, and I will link them down below for you. But basically, just know that even though you think you're showing yourself in this certain way online, a lot of people can see through it. And this guy probably sees that, you know, whatever your insecurity is, I don't think you actually mentioned it. No, you just said you're afraid that he won't find you, he won't find you attractive, or he thinks you're too fat. Just know that he probably already realizes what you look like and sort of what he's, you know, getting himself into. And you don't need to be so afraid of that. I mean, unless you're photoshopping all your pictures and you're smoothing out every inch of your skin and you're trimming off 50 pounds, like, if you're lying, okay, he might reject you because you're pretending to be someone you're really not. But if you're just sort of angling the photos a little differently and, you know, cropping it a little bit or whatever, he probably still realizes what you look like, or at least has some idea of what you might look like. So, what would my tip be? You're probably not gonna get rid of your fear of rejection until you just go out and do it. And what's the worst that could happen, right? He could reject you and tell you what, you're too fat, you're too ugly, or whatever. Don't you want to know that that's the kind of person he is, though? Like, if he's the type of person who would reject someone for that, or who would be a dick and really say it to your face, or even say it behind your back in a way that, you know, you could eventually find out about, that's not the kind of person you want to be dating anyway. So although it might hurt and it might be embarrassing, once you get through it, if that's what happens, although I don't think it's what would happen, once you get through it, you'll be stronger because of it. At least that's been my experience. Yeah, so if you guys have any advice for her, drop it down below in the comments. And again, if you want to see that video, give me a thumbs up and let me know in the comments, because I would be more than happy to do it. And because I have met multiple people from online and actually had relationships with them, including the father of my kids. We met through Facebook, actually. You know, it turns out we live 5 minutes away from each other, but it's a whole long story. But let me know if that's something you would like to see. All right, here we go. Here's the next email. So it reads, I'm a transgender female to male, and I'm dating this guy who we'll call R, who's bisexual. He leans more towards guys, and he knows I'm transgender. I guess there's a part of me that's worried that if I do dress too girly around him, it'll turn him off. He just recently came out of the closet, and I've been highly supportive. We've been kind of dating for maybe a month or two, but it's just strictly dates between us. I can't really call him my boyfriend yet. I'd love to be able to get to the point where I can call him my boyfriend, because he does say he wants to be with me, and he says he loves me. I guess that's what I'm trying to get to is, do you have any advice on what I could possibly do, or how I could bring it up in conversation to him that we could start actually being a couple? Thank you. Okay, so I would say the core of this really seems like you're sort of dating someone who is clearly interested in you and is saying that they love you, and you just want to know how to take it to the next step. So, you know, in this particular situation, you're transgendered and he is bisexual, which, you know, at the end of the day, you guys are two people in a relationship, or not in a relationship yet. So I would say first, ask yourself what you want out of calling him your boyfriend. Sort of, what's the purpose behind it? Is the purpose behind it because you want to be in an exclusive relationship, maybe, you know, sexually and emotionally exclusive with each other, you know, where you're only sharing those things within the relationship of you two? Or is it because you want to be able to tell the world that you're in a relationship, or, you know, just whatever it may be, ask yourself what the reason is that you really want to be labeled that way. For some people, that label is very important, but for other people, it's really not that important. And so maybe it's not that important to him, because if he's saying that he loves you and, you know, and you guys are together and he says he wants to be with you, I don't quite understand what's stopping it from happening, I guess. If he's telling you he loves you and he wants to be with you, then it seems like it would be natural for you to be like, oh, okay, so let's be together, let's do this. So if it is something about being exclusive and that's what you want out of it, then you should bring that up. I remember one time with one of my boyfriends, we were kind of like in just like relationship purgatory. We didn't know what was going on. We weren't exactly together, we weren't exactly not together. And I was like a little fed up with it at one point, because there were other people involved. And I was like, you know what? I know what I want, and I want you to myself. So I just said, I brought up in the conversation and I said, hey, so-and-so wants to go out on a date with me. This was not a lie, but I you know, it wasn't not necessarily something you bring up to your boyfriend, right? Oh, this other person's like, hey girl, let's go out on a date. But I was like, oh, so-and-so wants to go out on a date with me. And I was like, I'm gonna check in with you first, because I don't know where we stand. If we're not exclusive and this isn't going anywhere that's, you know, leading to a long-term relationship, then go ahead and let me know, and I'll go out and date with, you know, so-and-so, and you can do your thing. And it won't change what we have necessarily, unless me and him really, I don't know, whatever, like have a spark. But, you know, let me know how you feel about that. And he did. And he was like, nope. I would not like it if you did that, and I will not be doing that either. And boom, that night we were like, all right, so it's exclusive, it's me and you, boyfriend, girlfriend, let's hit the Facebook status, y'all. I typically, if I'm dating someone and I want to know what it is, and it's bothering me, or it's something that I feel like is gonna make me feel better if we are, you know, this boyfriend and girlfriend and we have those titles, then I'll just bring it up and I'll say, how are you feeling about the relationship? Do you see this going anywhere? What are your thoughts? What are your intentions with me? I know that sounds like your intentions, like something your daddy should ask, but I ask, you know, what are your intentions? What do you want out of this? How do you feel about it? How are you feeling thus far? Do you want to continue? Do you want this to become more serious? Do you see something happening? Do you not? And I'm also very open and honest about all of that too, because it's okay to date someone and not necessarily be in a relationship with them. So I would say just come out and ask. It definitely sounds like he's going to be receptive, and it sounds like he wants to be with you and he's in love with you. So I definitely don't think you should be scared of asking, and I hope that that helps. All right, here is another one. It says, hi Sarah, I'm a 21-year-old female and I was born HIV positive. I've only had one boyfriend back in like middle school, and when I first informed him I had it, he was one of the first people I told. He was okay with it, and to this day he's still one of my good friends. I lost my virginity at the age of 16. We used protection, and I haven't had sex since. My dilemma is that I'm afraid to get into relationships because of my status. I've talked to a couple of guys in the past, and once I told them, they called me names, didn't understand, called me dirty, the whole nine. I feel like since I've had negative reactions from guys, I'm afraid to get into a relationship, etc. How can I just let my guard down and not be so afraid? It has caused me to have self-esteem issues and a few other issues, but I feel like I'm in a really good place now. Thank you for all you do and the positive messages you put out there. Thank you for the message. So, this isn't something that I can speak on from personal experience because I do not have HIV, and I'm not living with any sort of STD that, you know, is a long-term kind of thing that could seriously affect another person, or that is, you know, able to be transmitted from me to anyone else. So I'll speak on it from what I've read and just my experience with people. But of course, if any of you have any knowledge on the subject and you would like to drop it, feel free to put it in the comments. Someone here? Okay, my parents just showed up. So I'm gonna go ahead and, this was the last question anyway. So, okay, back into it. I would say that there are a lot of really ignorant people, and these ignorant people, if they don't know anything about a disease and how it can be contracted and how it can be spread and how you can prevent spreading it, then they might have a really negative reaction to the fact that you have it and you're, you know, pursuing an intimate relationship with them. It sounds like you have a good head on your shoulders and you understand and you said you're in a good place, and that's great, because I think with you being mentally sound, you will know when you meet someone and you decide to broach the subject, you know, obviously before you're intimate with someone, because that's gonna be a big deal. And they're likely to trust you a lot more if you bring it up before you guys take it to that physical level. Otherwise, they might feel a little violated, almost as though you're taking their life into your hands, even though, you know, likely, I'm sure you would have protection and you would make sure that you're doing it in a way that isn't going to transmit the virus. Now, that being said, I think it's gonna be a risk that you're gonna have to take. You're gonna have to hope that you're with the right person and that this person is going to be understanding of it. And, you know, it's also understanding if they don't want to be in a relationship with you because they are simply afraid, and they're afraid of being with someone who's HIV positive. And obviously, if you're in an intimate relationship with someone that is HIV positive, that is going to increase the likelihood of you getting it. That doesn't mean that you're for sure going to contract HIV, especially if you're very protected. However, it does obviously mean that there's a greater chance if you know that the person you're having sex with is HIV positive. That being said, I don't think there's anything wrong with being in a relationship with someone that is HIV positive. And personally, I could see myself being in a relationship with someone that had the virus as long as we took precaution. And it would be definitely a big deal to take the precaution, but it doesn't change who you are, and you were born with it. So people calling you a dirty whore, even if you weren't born with it, even if you had contracted it, you know, however, just having sex with someone and you weren't aware, whatever it may be, it doesn't mean that you're dirty. It means that you got a virus and you can't get rid of it. But a lot of people can control it. This is not the 70s. HIV is not what it was in the 70s. It's different now. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that. So I would say that you kind of have to go with your gut. And you sound like someone who has a good shot of picking the right person. So I wish you luck with that. But as I said, since I don't have firsthand experience, I can't give you super good, awesome advice on this. If any of you watching this though have any tips on it, put it down below. And I know I've read articles before on how to tell someone that you are HIV positive, or that you have like herpes, or that you're living with an STD that you can't, you know, get rid of. So if I find the articles that I've read, I will definitely link them down below. So that's the question I'm going to end this Ask Sarah session on. Yeah, as always, if you guys have any advice for the people that are asking me questions in these videos, feel free to put it down below. And if you have a question or a story that you want to tell me, email me at AskSarahVargas@gmail.com. You can also like hashtag AskSarahVargas on like Instagram or Twitter, and I'll be sure to look them up. I'm pretty active on both of them. But I think that's it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it helped you if you needed some help in any of those subjects. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye guys.